other going into that. Faze completely just focusing on Luminosity for their pool. But Elevate says Faze is the toughest team, the one to beat. I mean, that's kind of obvious, right? We have such high expectations for these guys. Always seem like they're going to break into the top, but have never just been able to crack. Beating Optic Gaming, basically, is the way that we just need to sum it up. So both of these teams, pretty similar in weaknesses as well. Openly, in the uplink is probably their worst game mode going into that as well. So right on your guys' screen, we're going to be jumping straight into the rig draft, but as usual, just kind of a picture-perfect matchup.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit more about this matchup. You mentioned before how Elevate's rated did specifically say that he feels like Faze is going to be their toughest matchup, and he says that if they even win this series, it's going to go to Game 5. While it would be exciting to see a back-to-back Game 5 scenario, I'm on Rated's side. I think that Faze should be able to take this. Is definitely one of their easiest matchups in this group. Now, we take a look at the side of Elevate. We have the duo of Rated and Reedy coming back together. These two have been best friends for some time in the competitive scene in the European region for the Call of Duty World League. So seeing them together raised a lot of questions in the community and caused a bit of a discussion as to how their personalities would mesh on this team.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely does. And then this is going to be the first time we're seeing these two teams play. I mean, obviously, the only time Faze and Elevate ever played is dating all the way back to MLG Las Vegas. So now these two teams are going to be going head-to-head. Brand new roster for the side of Elevate. Obviously, same thing for Faze. So it should be interesting to see how it stacks up. Elevate's always that team kind of stays quiet. We underrate them a lot, right? But then they come in here and they do make some serious noise. And I think Watson is going to be my player to highlight. The guy remains pretty consistent for the most part, has those standout performances as well, so I'm just going to be interested to see how this one does play out. Hardpoint is going to be the first one. If you guys are just tuning in, we are live from CWL Dallas. We're going to have Faze going up against Elevate.
It's funny, you mentioned you felt that Watson was one of the more consistent players. I actually think that's one of his bigger weaknesses, is that he is pretty inconsistent. I think that when we got to have an interview with those Elevate players, they did mention that there were some real-life things going on affecting him and their play over the last couple of events, causing that inconsistency. So it's definitely something that I think we've seen him improve with over time. But if we're going to see Elevate take a couple of maps in this series, we can't have Watson's Feast or Famine game type. We just got to see Watson at his best.
Yep, I mean, you got to be feeling good if you're on Faze as well. You have two of the top 5 KDs in Respawn at MLG Atlanta on your team. That's going to be Zuma and I believe Attach as well. So we're jumping straight into this one. We're going to hop on board in the eyes of Clayster. He is going to be the MV4 player for the squad. We've seen so many switch-ups coming from the side of Faze, and it looks like they're hitting home with this. But he's going to go ahead and push towards a bridge. Initial time going to the side of Faze.
Yeah, one thing to mention about Clayster, seeing him open this map up with the NV4 is a little different from what we've seen over the past few months. He was reluctant to go to this this playstyle at first. It took the rest of his team convincing him to switch over to that weapon to see its use in their matches in Hardpoint here. But they're starting off 20 seconds to 0, so I got to say at least the opening push is going well with him on that weapon right now.
Very good setup from the side of Faze to start off that one, and they're still in heavy control of this. Enable going to be inside of the hill already, working towards streaks 100 away from getting those Trinity, the bombardment, sorry. Let's see what he's going to be able to do here. He's going to be joined by a teammate. Some kill trades should be able to go down, but no, Enable is going to fall to the hands of Reedy and Rated. But 29-1 is the score, and rising for the side of Faze. The initial rotation is going to be coming in from the side of Elevate.
Yeah, and see, the big thing about that weapon swap between Clayster and Enable is that Clayster's going back to his old role, but we also got to remember Enable now gets access to the K-bar, and you can see he's opening up the game 6-0, a huge reason as to why the score deficit is the way it is now. It's Zuma's turn to be on the aggression, trying to find some gunfights, and his team is pinching in here with him to help him out. That's going to be a break for FaZe Clan.
It definitely is, and like we said, Enable was working towards those streaks, was finally taken out as well, but Faze is going to get that clean break after the rotation did come from the side of Elevate. Now let's see what they're going to be able to do here. The players to watch is going to be Reedy and Zed. Should be able to play for some trades. NV4 is going to be in the hands of Reedy. He's going to be able to pick up this kill. Yes, he is. Now it looks like it might be wide open, but no, the gunfight's going to be going inside of the favor of FaZe Clan. Zuma and Enable going to be inside the hill trying to make something happen. Watson going to take out Zuma, immediately traded out right there, but now the arrow's just sort of flooding and kind of going back and forth, but still FaZe in heavy control of this map.
Yeah, and a lot of those gunfights going in their favor. They're able to win a lot of those close-range engagements. Elevate is just not able to put too much on the scoreboard at the moment, as you can see. Take a look at those gold arrows. FaZe trying to rotate over towards Bike Path and get a setup going on middle map, but this player 4, the red arrow that is rated, should be able to make a difference. That open and kill on Enable should set the tone.
Right now what we're seeing from Faze is kind of picture-perfect hardpoint. We start right off the break, getting their setups all good to go, getting Clayster in the position he needs to be in. And it's sort of just going to be Clayster and Enable, right? You're going to have one just set up in one spot, one overextending as well. But everything looking picture-perfect for Faze so far. 79-10 is the score, and it just keeps on rising for the side of Faze. Elevate needs to try to get something going here before it starts to get a little ugly. Heavy control on the side of the bowling from the side of Faze Clan as well. Players from Elevate going to be spawning in that middle map area. Fox, if you're on the side of Elevate, what's the big thing you need to do to break this hill?
They're doing it right now. They're trying to get some more pressure towards underpass and bowling because they know that this is the side of bike path that they want for spawns. Watson in position is able to find 2 big kills with the NV4 to try and set the pace for them on this side of the map, and now it's Faze's turn to answer back.
Yep, and something to keep in mind, Enable is going to have that Trinity Rocket, so they're like, hey, we can just choose to not rotate early. Maybe use that, try to break out this baseball field hardpoint as well. Player from Elevate is going to drop. That is going to be Zed. It's going to be immediately traded out. Now it's 2 down for the side of Elevate, and the Trinity Rocket is going to come into play for Enable, but it's not going to do much. It's forcing those Elevate players inside, and Attach is going to be there for the quick cleanup from the side of Faze. Zuma starting to kick things up. We talked about his KD and how well he can slay, just really what he's known for. He is going to be taken out as well. The score 120-13. The break is going to come in from the side of Elevate. One player left last alive. That is going to be Clayster finding himself in a sticky situation, and Elevate gets a nice clean break.
Faze is doing a pretty staggered push right here. You can see it's only 3 players coming in from underpass. People hesitating a little, trying to wait for someone else to overextend and get out of position. It pays off as Attach is able to find 2 kills from it. So now this 3-man push from Faze Clan ends up working out because of that double kill. And Attach is a player that I wanted to highlight so badly, but he was being overshadowed by Enable for the most part of this map, and now we're seeing him come through in a big way.
We definitely are. So we're going to be heading right back to where we started in this hard point. It's going to be Faze still in heavy control of this one. Elevate going to be the first players there, but there's going to be one player getting gifted a spawn. That is going to be Zuma. See what he's going to be able to do in top food. He's not going to spot anybody. He's going to have one player right outside. He's going to be able to take that out. And just like that, another big break coming in from the side of Faze. Zuma just needs to worry about one more player from the side of Elevate. That's going to be Zed. You can see from the outline from the X-ray. He's going to be right beside those hay bales, and he is going to be taken out. But Faze looking so good in this throwback hardpoint.
Oh, this is terrifying. You've got 2 players on the side of Faze Clan that just feel unkillable at times for the side of Elevate. So how can they respond to that, right? You've got 2 incredibly disruptive players in the form of Zuma and Enable just pouring it on you non-stop, and Elevate has to wake up and answer back here soon because this game's way out of hand.
It's getting ugly real fast. Only 32 points from the side of Elevate. We're going to jump on board with the new boy Rated on the side of Elevate. Currently getting things heated up on a 3-kill streak. Will be taken out from the back. That is going to be Zuma eliminating him. Once again, we talked about a kill streak going down on baseball. Zuma starting to pick it up once more. 4-kill streak for him. Barnes going to be in rotation, and it's going to go in favor of the guys from Faze. Enable's going to go ahead, pull out that Scarab. Has a Trinity Rocket as well, so something we just need to highlight. Enable currently 20-10, 1 minute and 22 seconds inside of the hill as well. As another break does come in from the side of Elevate. It's something just common. They break inside the hill, but Faze is just able to come right back and get into that. And now Clayster just doing a smart play, staying alive.
Oh my gosh, these players on Faze and this team in general over the past several Call of Duty titles have always been excellent hardpoint players. And this is really where we see their dominance shine. Right here is in maps like these. They're outclassing Elevate right now on Throwback, and it's looking really good for them.
Yep, and the utility is coming from Faze as well. Clayster is going to have that FTL jump, and then Enable is going to have the active camo ready to go. So look for that to come in for a big break. If Faze does need it, they really don't. They've been able to break hills just for using their gun skill and getting some well-team coordinated pushes as well. Enable going to be rotating through the middle of the map. Going to be able to find one there. Early rotations coming in from the side of Elevate, but you can see the gold arrows to see if they come out on top in these gunfights. But 3 players from Elevate going to be met inside the hill first. Enable just going to be waiting for his teammates to come for support.
So now we've seen a little bit of a staggered push from the side of Faze. Still 2 versus 2 though, so it should work out for them if they can win those gunfights. Raid's going to take one down, trying to go for the second. No more ammo in his magazine, so he's going to be cut short right there. And now Watson on the front line. Excellent aggression out of him to try and keep the Faze players at bay and buy the rest of the Elevate players some time to come up off spawn. That's still going to cause the Faze players to reroute towards middle. As they do that, they still get cut down. Zuma is the only player that was able to find a kill out of that engagement.
And if you're an Elevate fan at home, this is what you want. They started to get some momentum going off that barn, getting this first rotation. They've been getting some very good time off this hill. Finally going to be broken on the side of Faze. They're going to get the last bit of scrap time from this one unless the player from Team Elevate Rated does come through to get that. But Enable is going to be right by Bowling. He's going to be able to take out one more. Should secure spawns for his team if he's able to win that gunfight, but he will be taken out by Watson. And like we said, things looking good for Elevate to try to get something going. They're going to be first to this new hardpoint on baseball once more. The Faze players in no position to contest this hill.
So we saw right there, Zed was on a 4-kill streak, so he's going to be awarded with the Scarab that you're seeing right now. Choose to send it toward Bowling, which is a good call. However, the score streaks coming in from Faze Clan, that's going to be Enable, was just too much for them to handle. 3 kills go in favor of them. Zed, one of the better slayers on this Elevate roster, is trying to be the difference maker to lighten the load for the rest of the Elevate players once they come up off spawn, but it's going to be a really difficult fight to win.
Definitely is. Reedy's going to be left alone. His teammates are going to be spawning in blue, so quick gunfight's going to be coming back down, but Faze is going to be coming out on top of majority of those ones. Watson right now just trying to take out Clayster in the back. He's going to be able to do that as well, but he will be taken out by Enable. 100-point markers finally been broken on the side of Elevate. Score 196 to 119 and counting. Boys on Elevate rotating back to this middle hardpoint, something they've really been struggling to hold throughout this entirety of the hardpoint.
So guys, as we're rounding down to the last few seconds, a little bit of a halftime kind of moment. We're seeing the rotation start right back from the top. Elevate is starting to claw their way back into this game after being down by 100 seconds for the majority of this map. They're definitely putting themselves in a decent situation now as Faze is on the offensive.
Statistically the worst slayer for Faze Clan to respawn game modes. Clayster going off right now, 26 and 16 as well, just doing really what he needs to do for his team. But Elevate going to be inside of the hill trying to get something going now. Watson, we're going to be on board with him. He is going to have the active camo ready to go, but he will be taken out by the hands of Clayster as he does push inside of that hill. So 200-point mark has now been broken on the side of Faze. Things are looking very good for them. Got a little bit slow as the game started to progress, but it looks like we're starting to see maybe the old style of Faze coming back. But just as I say that, we're going to see Faze Clan lose control of the hill, go right back into the side of Elevate.
Yeah, and it looks like they're just going to give them that scrap time and try and set up for Barn. We see one player from Faze. That's going to be player number 7, Enable, his job should be catching anyone on the rotation. He does just that. He takes down Rated. So now, Elevate has to push this hill outnumbered, and you can see that's playing right into the hand of Faze as Zuma is able to find several kills, pop the reactive armor, get himself some more hill time, and a little bit of damage on the next blue push.
Yep, and Attach going to be laying down some shots, but the player from the side of Elevate did have that reactive armor ready to go. That is going to be Reedy. We're seeing the ERAD being pulled out once more. He's going to be able to find 2. He's not going to be able to find another one for that. Brady going to be left last alive inside of the hill, and they are creeping up on this 200-point mark on the side of Elevate. Faze needs to get something going here, but the setup that the side from Elevate does have looks very, very good, but one player was able to sneak by. That is going to be Attached. Let's see if he's going to be able to get a break.
Yeah, Zed was able to stop one player on that push, but he can't catch both. They're too far apart and being communicated. Attached breaks right through 2 big kills for the objective. That should give them this scrap time, and with them being so close to a victory, every bit of scrap time matters. Elevate, though, they're able to send both Rated and Reedy through, or excuse me, Reedy and Zed through to break that hard point and take it right back.
Things are getting chippy here. Bowling is going to be one player pushing through. That is going to be close. He's going to be taken out. Now, Rated does have that Centurion. We know how good that can be in hardpoint, so look for him to maybe ditch where he's at the positioning that he's at, try to go on the hill to put that down, but 3 Faze players flood in through Bowling. They're going to be able to take him out. The big break does come in. Centurion is ready to go for Attach as well. We're going to see a payload on the side of Elevate. That is going to be the FTL jump. See how things are going to go here. Nobody in real position to try to make something happen. The FTL jump is going to be used, but nothing is going to come from that one. Hill jumping back and forth, but as you see, a clean sweep, and Faze takes control. You're going to get Clayster in the power position up top bridge. He's going to be able to find one. That is on Watson. See the players with the X-ray flying, utilizing those high wall runs, but Faze looking like they should be able to take complete control of this one and take the game.
Yeah, and it looked like that was on the back of Zed using his FTL jump that Faze took over, but it was really his teammates not winning their gunfights after Zed won his initial one. So Faze fights right down onto that, and it looks like they could close this game out. Zed has to hop on this hard point and contest it for just a moment if he wants any hope of moving on to the final hard point, but no, Faze is able to close it out, Dirk.
They definitely are. Faze looked like they were going to go in for a complete blowout, but respect on the guys on that side of Elevate, right? I mean, 250 to 205 were able to claw it back, I believe. When Faze was at, I think, at the 140 mark, Elevate was still at 36 points. So, I mean, just almost the comeback was there. Faze slowed down a little bit. They were to pick it up there, and I think we have to give a major credit to Attach on that Barn Hill, got the solo break, went on a little bit of a